All right, guys, good morning. Welcome to Sobriety, Spirituality, and Sales. We're in the Live the Dream studio this morning. Show's brought to you by Michael Bader State Farm Agency, First and River. If you need a quote, please contact Mike. What's your phone number, Mike?
520-878-0098. Give us a call.
Absolutely. I switched over to you.
You did.
Yeah,
You saved money.
You saved me a boatload of money. I actually just got a check from Guild Mortgage for $1,600. So I'm going to dump it back in, though. I'm not going to keep
Perfect. Perfect.
So all you folks out there listening, save yourself some money.
Awesome.
Man, we are thrilled to be here this morning with a fantastic guest that I met back in November. Louis Picazo, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, absolutely.
We met at the L offices. There was an ASBA event.
Yes, sir.
Which you put on in
Yes, sir.
conjunction with some other folks.
Yes, sir.
And, every time I go to networking events, I make it a priority to ask a question or slip in my story a bit because I want to connect with people.
Yeah.
And we connected.
We did. We did. And it was a great story. And it resonates with me in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of folks in this entrepreneurial venture journey that we all go through that have these stories that nobody knows, right? They see the successes, they see the struggles, but behind the scene, what really happened, how did they get here, and that miraculous story of getting from A to B to B to C, right? That is the true core of what makes entrepreneurs who we are as entrepreneurs, and to get what we go through, because everybody goes through some stuff. There's no question, but having the time and the place to disclose what that is, to inspire and to produce success in others is what we're here for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you grew up in Los Angeles, is that correct?
East LA, bro.
Born in East LA.
Born in East LA. True, right. It's a funny story.
He's got his Dodger blue on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I went to go see the Dodgers not too long ago, born and raised in East Los Angeles. Grew up there. Humbled, very, very humbled beginnings. Really talking about that core of what forms you, what molded you to get to where you are today, right? It was many experiences, including that as well, and it was a learning adventure. I could tell you stories upon stories of the awful things that I saw, and the things that people get into, and the sin that people get into. And what causes what the enemy wants is to kill, destroy, and
Kill, steal, and destroy.
Kill, steal, and destroy, yes. Right? And so that was all happening in the midst of me, and I didn't want to be part of that. And there was something in me that said, "You should not. This is not for you. It's not what you need to be." So I grew up a pastor's kid. I was an official PK.
Nice.
And my dad grew up in church as well, and he became a pastor. So we became PKs and traveling all over the state of California, up and down, going to different churches and what have you. So we were a bit of a Christian vagabond. We were all over the place. And then it got to a point to where we were getting older, and we were living in East LA. And all of a sudden, my dad comes and says, "Well, we're going to go to another mission. We're going to open a new mission." I'm like, "Okay, well." Figure somewhere in California, somewhere else, something like that. He comes up with Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
I'm like, Anchorage, Alaska? I'm like, where in the heck is that?
Did you even own a jacket at that time?
I didn't know, man. It was those little Dodger little jackets that they would give us when we go to see the game, right? So there was really nothing. It was wind, what do you call those, wind jackets?
Yeah.
So there we go to Alaska. I was 17 roughly, 17 years old. My brothers were, younger than me. One of them was like 6 or something. And so we went up to Alaska, and we talked about a culture shock, and so it developed us in the sense that because it opened up our eyes even further. Alaska is just a melting pot of all types of cultures. Languages, and you wouldn't think so, but it's just so many languages, especially Hispanics, large Hispanic population in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
Didn't even know.
Yeah.
And so that opened our eyes a lot, and it gave us the opportunity because we moved around so much, we weren't shy. We had to make friends, and so we had to get out there and put ourselves out there. If not, we would be these crazy lonely guys hanging around, just kind of figuring out, well, I don't want to be here. But we assimilated. We got into the mix as best as we could, and then we knew that it was going to be a short term because we knew that my dad would probably be moved somewhere else. But we made the best of where we were at, and so I think that built a lot of the characteristics that I am today. I'm not shy. I will go up to you and I will shake your hand and how you doing? My name is Louis Picazo. And we start a conversation. Now, whether or not that lasts forever, great, it does. But I know that I'm not afraid to say hello. I'm not afraid to say hi, right? And a lot of people tend to kind of back away from all that. They're like, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Well, it's a special skill, and I see it diminishing today with the age of social media, the internet, AI. I mean, everything. Like kids are buried in their phones. They don't maybe know how to necessarily have that interactive conversation with people. You gotta draw stuff out of people. I mean, I knew right away speaking with you. You were obviously you knew what you were talking about. You're very confident, and you were not afraid to put yourself out there. So I love those qualities in people. Yeah,
it is, and it's not something that you're born with.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you prepare for. Something in your life prepares you to be a certain way, right? And some of us don't have the opportunity to grow up in some nice areas or nice houses and nice surroundings, and this picture perfect white fence kind of living, and that's not really reality, at least not for the most of us, and so. So what we have to take what we are given and and filter out the worst and keep the best, and it's so hard to do that because we're not built that way. We're built to go to the easy way, right? Whatever easiest to go to, and then let me do that, and then I'll figure it out when I do that. But it's easy right now. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, we tend to want to be that comfort, stay in the comfort zone, stay what we like to do. But I mean, you guys know, being in business entrepreneurs yourselves, if you are comfortable, you're not growing.
Correct.
You have to understand the uncomfortableness is for you to grow, to learn something new, to be in a position to where you can now teach others at a certain point in time after you've gone through it. And a lot of these people say, well, I don't want to go through that. I want to have an easy route, but I still want to be able to teach them by example. Well, you're not really teaching by example, unfortunately. Not that I would ever say that to anybody, but you got to go through the fire in order to come out cleansed. And us as the entrepreneurs, the people that we are, and if we're Christians and spiritual, we God teaches us that by cleansing is going through the fire, and He will be there and cleanse us all the way through that process. So I kind of because I became a life coach and a Christian life coach. Out of a great experience in my life that had happened, that really changed my life. When you think that you got it all, God says, "No, you don't got it all. You don't have it at all. Let me take it away, and let me really show you what you are at your rawest form." Mm. And when God does that for you, that is when you have the opportunity to live the life that you are supposed to be here in this world. And so I had the privilege, and even though I say it, and I had the privilege, and I'm very excited to have gone through the fire so I can come out understanding what I'm here for to do, right? And that is what's important in everybody's life is we don't want to go, we're afraid to go through the fire. We don't want to, and sometimes we're going through it, but we don't accept it. But when you accept what God wants to do for you, God will make miracles.
So, question: you grew up as a pastor's kid, which I did not know. That's very interesting. I love that. Growing up in East LA has its challenges. Growing up in anywhere these days, but now was this in the in the 90s, the 80s? I don't want to.
I'm aging myself.
We're gonna date them.
Yeah, I know you're gonna date me. This was 80s, 90s.
Okay. And so, did you see? Our show is called Sobriety, Spirituality,
Yeah.
and Sales. Did you see guys around you, or did you yourself partake in, smoking weed, doing things that weren't necessarily? I mean, being a pastor's kid, your dad probably laid the law down to you pretty
I had the
easily.
foundation.
And then speaking on being a life coach, I mean, it sounds like you faced some other challenges as well. So if you want to elaborate on those things
Yeah,
and what the challenges were, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So, God, whether it be God or whatever, my mom's prayers, a mother's prayers go, like my mom says, a mother's prayers go straight to the throne of God.
Mm.
They go straight there. They're the first ones to get, my mom goes, the first ones to get heard because all these powerful mother prayers, right?
Love that.
So I think my mom's prayers really protected us. There were situations where we were in parties and different house parties in LA and different parties in different areas of the country that we were in, and there were some bad things that could have happened to us. I mean, but I never, I would put my foot in, but I never will open the door and get in there, right? And again, I attribute that to my mom and the prayers around us. Total chaos. I mean, I think I was like maybe 10 years old, if not younger than that, when I saw right in front of our house in East LA, a guy murdered, right? Dragged off by the cops because he was high on drugs, so he didn't feel the massive hole in his head. And so he was being belligerent, and the cops just threw him in the back of the car and drove off with the guy. And then I see my uncle and my mom and everybody else just watering the blood off of the side of the street to get it away from the house. Seeing people get shot at and killed, and see people drunk beyond their my imagination, and walking down the street and just belligerent. Seeing one of my best friends, his sister, died of AIDS because she was an intravenous drug user. Beautiful girl. My best friend, who was like a brother to me, was involved in gangs in that area, and would come by and he would show us his sawed-off shotgun in his trench coat at the time, and then come to find out that he would wind up killing somebody in self-defense with that gun. And being attacked and all the stuff around us, and we were like, wow, we don't want to be involved in that, and that's what we're going back to. What we're saying is that, and then so you grow up, right? You grow up, and then you have different types of addictions, different types of temptations, and the enemy has a way of, like, he can't read your mind, but he can really see where your defects are, right? And where you're lacking in certain things. And my lack was, I loved money. I loved having nice things. I love that, right? And so God says, God blessed me with this opportunity to build up these franchises and start off and doing well and being that, and then so the enemy saw that, I guess, and surrounded me with folks that equally loved money probably more than I did. And the competition, let's catch up with the Joneses. Who owns more than what? How many fast cars can we have? How many women can we have?
Yeah.
And you get caught up in that, you get caught up in that mess, and it's a whirlwind. And if you've ever seen a tornado, it just goes and goes, and it doesn't care what's in its way. It'll suck it in, and it'll just turn it. So you see folks that are in business, and they're doing that, and they get caught up in that whirlwind, and they think they're doing great. They think they're doing fantastic, and they financially probably are. But within their soul, they're hurting, right? Yeah. They're hurting, and so, yeah. So, so to answer your question, I didn't partake in this, in the crazy drug scene and the gang scene when I was younger, but I partaked in the adult stuff.
So what do you think attributed you to staying on the right side of things growing up? mean, you had a vision, you had goals for your life at a young age. Your folks spoke life into you. You listened to that message. What was it for you?
Yeah, honestly, I gotta say, I attribute this to my mom's prayers of keeping us in the right path. Not to say we were perfect. We were far from perfect. We did our mess ups, but we didn't get ourselves in a position to where we were harming our bodies or, having, keep causing stress to our own families. And I think what attribute that to guys is understanding, is seeing your surroundings, is having the ability to look out the window and say, do I want to go out and step out to that? I have a choice, or do I stay in here and try to figure things out myself?
Wow.
Which one is the best option to have, right? And a lot of us folks don't have that opportunity. A lot of us are thrown out the window, regardless if we want to or not. And next thing you know, we're in some type of situation. We're in an addiction. We're in something, right? And so, and then God will take us out of that eventually. I had a choice. We all have choices. I had a choice to partake or not when I was younger, and I chose not to. And I think that was because I was looking things around me. I would hear my dad preach and sing. He was part of a band, a Christian gospel band, and we would travel all over the place. And he would open for Pat Boone, and they're so I don't know if you guys are older, see who Pat Boone is,
yeah.
but yeah. But him and the other, and Love Song and all these great 70s, 80s bands, right? That were out there. And so and I grew up playing the drums, and so my first concert was in front of 3,000 people, and I was maybe 12.
Wow.
When I was playing the drums at that point, and so I was in that realm, and I had the experience of that, and then that was my inside of that room, right? But then then there was other stuff outside the window that was going on that I was like, wow, that's pretty scary. I don't want to be a part of that. That's crazy. But I had the choice to do it because it was right there. I wanted to stay into that and figure out my own destiny. Did my parents make the right decisions on certain things? No. Do I wish that I would have stayed and played football at a high school for 4 years and stay at a high school for 4 years and play football like I really wanted to? I didn't have the chance to do that. But I learned other things. I learned how to interact with people. I learned what it took to make things happen for myself and make good things happen for myself because I had to, right? And I take those and I use them, and because again, going back to choices, I could decide to think about all the bad things that happened, all the stuff that I couldn't do, and I could blame it on my parents. It's all your fault. I could do that, or I could say, you know what? I could take what I learned and take the situation I was in and turn them around and use them for my good. And that led me to a certain spot, and led me to a certain spot, and led me to a certain spot. And I choose to think that way. Because if you start thinking about your past and start focusing on that is when you start getting into trouble. Mm-hmm. Your mind will start playing tricks on you. And when your mind starts playing tricks on you, sometimes we tend to follow that.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And so you ended up going to Georgetown University.
I did. That was a fluke, man. That was, me and my friend decided that there was a course in franchise management at the time. That was the only Ivy that was, at the time I didn't even know it. I didn't even care. I didn't know it was an Ivy League, but so we was like, okay, what's franchise management? We want to be able to learn and expand our knowledge in franchising much more, and then we knew the professor that was running the program at Georgetown University, Dr. Ben Italian, and we talked to him. He said, "Hey, let's come on over," and we got accepted, and we commuted from Arizona to Washington D.C. Commuted for classes.
Wow.
And that was an event right there in itself. right? But we were committed to do it, and we really learned a lot. And I'm so blessed to have that experience, to visit that school, and a lot of great minds there. So I want to write a book from East LA to Georgetown.
I love it.
So when did you have that first taste of success? You know, when you're just describing the desire for the money. You were in Alaska. You left.
Yeah, that was Alaska's. Yeah, so I think the first part of my success is when I never forget this day. So we were, I used to do. So I was smart, and at least I paid attention, I should say, to somebody who was smarter than me, and I followed their rule. So I go, you know what? I know everything about insurance. I just don't know how to operate an agency. So let me find somebody to operate the agency, and I will do everything on top of that. So I brought in somebody who had 25 years of agency experience. I brought her in not as a paid employee, but as a partner. So she had skin in the game. So I brought her in. We built it. We started building this organically and through mergers and acquisitions, through M&A. So one of the first acquisitions, or the first things that I would come to mind, I was in Starbucks, and we would buy insurance agencies, mm-hmm. and I would go and with oh my God, she's an actress, and she was a prostitute, and he was pretty woman. You know what he used to do? Buy businesses.
Yeah,
that's what he did for a living, and I always loved that. I liked the movie. I loved what he did.
Yeah,
right. I'm like, God, I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that. So in my small little world, I started buying these businesses up, and my first one was we went to Starbucks. We sat down, and I talked to the owner. I said, I understand you're having difficulties. We can change this around. We can do two options, and we can buy you out, or we can merge with us, however you want to do it. So they agreed. They agreed to have us buy them out. I never forget this feeling that I had, euphoria, was calling up my business partner and telling her,
we got it.
Give me a check. Send me a check for, I think it was like $20,000. It was the primary check. Bring me a check for $20,000 so I can sign it up and get it ready to go, and bring it to me, and I could give immediately the down payment. I want to seal this deal right now. She goes, yeah, okay, sure. She was like 30 minutes away at the time. She got the check prepared, came to she picked me up. She came, I saw her, I came in, I went out, grabbed the check, came out and gave the check to this person. I'm like, this is going to start off a good thing, right? And that was that feeling of being able, having to do that, and having that dream of wanting to be Richard Gere in that movie, mm-hmm. right? Of what he was doing in my smallest form. I mean, I'm sure he was building $20 million businesses, but that was that first taste of having that ability to do that, and then that prompted me to keep on doing it. It just fed me, and I was just doing it until then I wound up in Las Vegas, because I wanted a write-off to go to Vegas, right? Like, I'm going to build my companies over there too, so I can go in over there whenever I want and have it and write it off, right? So I did that. We built two agencies up there, and then that's when I think that's where the negative aspects of things started.
Yeah. How many did you guys end up buying?
We bought up 8.
Okay.
Yeah, we bought up 8 total. Yeah, 8 agencies altogether, and then yeah. So it was an adrenaline rush. And that when it comes to business, I love that adrenaline rush. I love that. I love that thing of getting it started, and from conception, from an idea to paper. I'm building something right now, and I get that rush, and it's a great feeling. Yeah, it's a really great feeling, especially when it comes from God.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So take us on the journey then from insurance to what was the next franchisable thing that you got into or did. You right? I mean, because it sounds like you've done multiple different things.
Yeah. Right after that, I sold it. We saw the 2008, 2009 guys where they had that crash, right?
Yeah.
So I sold it roughly around that time. I saw this was coming, and I'm like, okay. So and then all this, and again, this is all telling you guys, when you think God is not behind you, not working from you, and you think about it and you look at it 20 years back, and you're like, how did that happen? That had to have been God.
Great timing.
Great timing.
Yeah.
Because at that time, my partner comes and calls me up out of the blue. I remember this. I was in my laundry room at the time. I'll never forget it. On the phone with her. and she tells me, would you consider a buyout for me? I'm like, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be over, because I was in Phoenix, and I'll drive down to Yuma, and I said I'll be there. So we negotiated over the weekend. I got there on Friday, and by Monday, I sold my business to her. And then I took a year off, decided what I wanted to do, what I needed to do. I knew I didn't want to go back to the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to working with this great company that I had met during my visits, and during my tours of California, going back and forth and trying to figure out what I can do next. And I met this guy. He was a tax franchise. He wasn't a franchise at the time, but he wanted to franchise it. Got into work with him. Had a great time working with him. He had like about 10 offices, and they're located. He says, listen, he brought me on. He said, listen, as a consultant, can you grow these businesses? And so we did. We opened up 55 locations in California for him. And then we started growing from there. And then we were flying all over the country. One of the things that he said, he goes, we want to franchise my business. I said, okay, I'll give you 2 weeks. I go, I need to do my due diligence around this to check out your operations. He says, all right, let's do that. So I went and do my due diligence and came back to him. And after my 2 weeks, and I told him, I said, and I was walking in his office. I'm like, this is going to be really good, or this is going to be really bad. But I'm going to just be very transparent with him. So I got there and I said, listen, if you really want to accomplish your up to 500 locations throughout this whole country, everything that you built up this far, we're going to have to toss, and we're going to have to put in a whole new system, operational system, in order for you to be able to do that. And I cringed. I was waiting for the sucker punch. I was waiting for the punch, right? Like, get out of my office and you're crazy. But he said, he goes, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Long story short, he's probably up to 350 locations today. And he's growing across the country, and he's the first Hispanic-based tax franchise in the country that he built.
Outstanding.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so it, so I'm at a very proud moment. And then from there, it kind of scaled to working out. We went to Sydney, Australia, brought in a brand from Sydney, Australia, a green homes brand that builds green style homes, where it says we're very organic. They use very earth friendly type of products. Brought them in. So I was in Australia for 2 weeks doing that, working with some organizations in Mexico, South America, and these. It's just kind of learning. It's just kind of not being afraid to say no, right? Even though when I don't know everything, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna figure this out. And so I got in there and figured it out, and helped a lot of people get build their brands here. And so there's so many things that one of the other things that I really exciting is understanding what helping people reach their dreams, creating generational wealth. Right, that is where we're at. That's where I was more recently, creating that generational wealth. And how do you do that? What is it? What does it mean? And those, especially for the minority folks who are entrepreneurs, and they're very, I would tell this story. I told this story at an event a couple of years ago at the International Franchise Association event in Phoenix, Arizona, and we were amongst some fantastic people there. And I told the story. I said, when walking around East Los Angeles, I would see these mom and pops, the carnicerias, the little stores, every small little furniture places, all small mom and pops, right? Growing up, I went to Georgetown, learned franchising, came back again, saw the same places, same there, except they weren't owned by the original owners. They were owned by the daughters, the grandkids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But still one location. I'm thinking to myself, and we're talking 20 plus years that's been passed. I'm thinking to myself, wow, if they knew the power of franchising, they could have taken that model that sustained their business for 20 plus odd years and blessed so many others with that concept. They could have been expanding in the city that they're in the state that they're in the country that they're in, and depending on the model, globally.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little more when we come back from break. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
All right.
What matters most to you? Protecting your family, your home, your car, or planning for the future? State Farm makes it simple to protect what matters most. Agent Michael J. Bader is here in your community to guide you through every step, making sure you get the protection you need without the hassle. Whether it's auto, home, life, or business insurance, Michael J. Bader can help you find the right plan today. Call 520-878-0098 or email michael@baderagency.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Does your ordinary radio feel a little limited? If you're looking for a new way to listen, it's time for a fresh start. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app, your premier destination and a new level up for digital radio. Over the last 2 years, we've found new ways to ensure your digital radio experience is the best it can possibly be. From live podcasts that spark new perspectives to a 24/7 soundtrack of live music, and even our built-in merch store, we've built a platform that is convenient, high quality, and simple to navigate. But we're only just getting started. Catch all of our shows weekly and join the Live the Dream Media family today and help us change the airwaves forever. Download it for free on the App Store or Play Store today. Live the dream. The dream starts now.
Welcome back, Sobriety, Spirituality, and Sales. Louis, thank you for being here, schooling us on franchise models, how to build your business, how to enlarge your business, how to make a bigger impact in the community at large, starting with your family. And then just real quick, guys, my website hopefully has been running at the bottom here. If not, it's mikecurrycoaching.com. If you're a business owner and you know alcohol's running your life and you want to find out who you are on the other side of that, schedule something on my website, shoot me a message. You can catch me on all the socials at Mike Curry. A way to get some clarity around what you're doing, a way to grow your business, a way to potentially make a bigger impact in your community. I'd love to help. So we'll get back into it. Super interesting. You're talking about being an observer. It sounds like the consistent theme throughout your life is being an observer. Yeah. There's different types of intelligence, and observing is one of the highest intelligences, in my opinion.
I never heard that, but okay. I'll take it.
Well,
Thank you.
It was interesting just to kind of go back on what you said. You saw things growing up, and you said, "No, I see what's going on here. I see the destruction. I don't want any part of that." But you also had good folks instilling, some values and things like that into you. And nobody's perfect, right? I mean, like anybody can look back and say, well, my parents didn't do this or they didn't do that. But also it's a very powerful perspective to come and say, look, regardless of, I could sit here all day long and say what they didn't do, but this is what they did do. And then also what I learned from maybe what they didn't do. Those are the lessons that I'm going to use moving forward. Right. We're not looking in the rearview mirror.
Exactly. 100%. Right. And that's what we all do. And trust me, I do it all the time. I try and I say, God, take that mentality away from me. I don't want to look in the rearview mirror. I want to look forward, right? And because that's where our future, that's where the future is for all of us, is looking forward. If we start looking backward, we're going to stall. We're going to stall and break down, and God knows what's going to happen at that particular point. So yeah, it's important. It's important to really look forward and understand what what we have to look forward to, because we've gone through what we've gone through for a reason.
Everything's a learning experience.
Everything's a learning experience. If you're addicted to drug and alcohol, you know, we can go back. So you can very easily, the enemy can say, you're a loser. Look at how you were before. You'll always be the same. You'll always be an alcoholic. You'll always be this. You'll always have that addiction, and so you always have that in your back of your head, right? That you're always going to do this. But in reality, you're a new creature in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You are a new person, and therefore no longer are you who you were before. You are something new to God. You are a child of God that is going to take you to a new place in time in your future. That's
outstanding.
And so that's why we believe in that, and that's why it's important to surround yourself with folks that believe in that.
To build you up.
To build you up and to get you going. It's just kind of crank that engine.
It's so funny you say that, because I'm speaking at an event inside of Australia. There's over 100 speakers. It's called Next Top Speaker.
Yeah.
And I have an opportunity to win $10,000.
All right.
And so it'll be on the 14th. I get to share my story. It's a 7-minute speech. And I had a coach last night who was helping me craft my talk. And basically I laid out my whole story, and I told her my experience, what I've been through, and the child of God piece is big. It's going to be in my story, because I think a lot of people, it's identity.
Right.
If you don't have a clear identity as a young person, you had an identity of who you were.
Right.
You know, if I look back on my life, and again, it's a reflecting point. It's not, I'm not going there to get into misery or look back and say, poor me. I didn't have an identity as a child of God. I looked out the window as you did, but I said, oh, those guys are cool.
Yep.
I was swayed by the wind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But now I know who I am today. I know whose I am today.
Right.
And so for those reasons, the news doesn't bother me. What people say in passing doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Heck, posting on social media, I could care less what people think of me.
Yeah.
I know I have a mission.
Right.
So I think that's super, super important.
That's 100% important.
Yeah.
I think you have to, you can't, if we listen to what the world perceives us to be, Christianity as we see it today would have not been what it is today. Us, we're messengers, we're examples. We're not perfect, but we provide the perfect word, right? We provide that perfect lesson that Jesus was on this earth, what he did, and he provided that perfect way of life, of living, right? We don't claim to be perfect as Jesus. That's just dumb. But we want to be able to say, listen, we're all imperfect here, but we have something to go by. A Bible, a teaching, the word that can get us to the next level in our life without feeling guilty, without feeling like, the world is not looking at us the way we're supposed to be. We're not acting the way the world wants us to be. We're not acting the way, we're not out there getting ourselves out there. I mean, social media is great, but it's how you use it, right? It's how you use it and how much you use it. And so I think it's really important for us as people, and as people, as entrepreneurs, we work for the best of our community. We work for our community. We have our business because we want to support the community that we live in around us. And if we focus on that I'm not here to take from our community, I'm here to give to our community. What does that mean? It means a lot. It means a lot of things.
It's a switch. Absolutely.
It's a switch, right? Exactly right. Right? So what can we give back to our community? And I'm telling you, once business owners, entrepreneurs start to think that way, one thing, it's a way for them to open up the doors of the heaven and just give them blessed, because you're giving now. And what does God teach us? Right? To give. Better to give than to receive. And so when we give ourselves, when we give our time, when we give like you're doing the speaking, and when we give our time to different associations and people and things, we're following what God intended us to do. And so I think as an entrepreneur now, we have to turn our mindset, you know, and what is, you know, what is the real meaning of repentance? Real meaning of repentance in Greek is change the mindset. You have to change our mindset. So we have to repent every day and changing our mindset and what we want to do and accomplish.
I love that. And, you know, you said you did life coaching. And
Yes.
I don't know if you'd agree with this, but I feel like since I was baptized, since I was made new,
Yeah.
I feel the power of the Holy Spirit. And especially with coaching clients, is there sometimes I'll say things and I don't know where the heck that came from. And they're like soaking it in. They're like, this is so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it. I'm just a vessel. You know, it's getting channeled through me.
Right, 100%.
You know?
No, 100% believe it. 110%. So another thing that I do is on Wednesday nights, I work with the Hispanic community, those that are going through separation and divorce. I work with men and women, with me and another partner of mine that we work with that. And it was very difficult for me because I'm bilingual, but I'm not comfortable bilingual, right?
Gotcha.
Right? So I speak English all day long. Spanish, I got to think about it. I'll get my message through, but I got to think about it. So I was very reluctant when I got asked from being in this and participating in this because I was like, okay, well, it's all Spanish. I don't know if I could do that, but I went with it. I'm like, I'm just going to go with it. God, this is on. You led me here. This is what it is going to be. And before I start, I said, God, just let your words come right through me because I do not know anything. I am not as wise as you are. I have no idea what these people are going through other than what I know why they're here. But I don't know what's behind them. I don't know what's behind the back door. I don't know what's pestering, what's got them here. But give me the words to inspire them, to lead them to you in some way or form. Because in my own mind, I have no idea what I'm doing. So yes, I 100% agree with you when it comes to that. We're vessels, bro. That's all we are, man. We're all vessels in this world.
Willing participants.
110% willing participants,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know.
So so I'm interested. You notice again, going back to you're observing. Okay, people could franchise these things. They can make a bigger impact in their community.
Yeah.
I can help more. I can serve more.
Sure.
So how did that get into today, where you've got a couple different businesses where you found a need in a social issue today?
Yes.
Okay, and how does that drive what you do today with what you're currently doing? And I'm going to guess it's not about the money now; it's about serving and helping people.
Correct. 110%. It is. It's about serving and helping people because you find, and again going back, and thanks for opening my eyes about the observation thing. I never really thought about it. I never thought about it the way you thought, the way you mentioned it, and I think. It's something, I don't know. I never really thought about it. I just kind of saw it. I looked, I saw an opportunity and I ran with it. So, and so I saw this opportunity within the group that I'm in and all of the behind the door issues, the back office issues, as I would say, that are, they always had issues with their real estate, with the businesses that they had, with their assets and everything else that was going on, and they're manipulated. There were scammers out there just taking money from these people, and I would hear it consistently. And then, so I was like, okay, well, that's a problem. I mean, there's got to be a resolution, but I don't know what it is. So I ran into somebody else who is another business partner of mine, and so I have different business. I don't know if this is the insanity part of things or what it is, but I know where I do a SWOT analysis on myself. I know what my strengths are, I know what my weaknesses are, my opportunities, and I certainly know what my threats are, right? And I know that if I go into a certain project and I know where my weaknesses are, and I need to solve that, I'm going to find somebody who has a strength in that area.
Wow. Yeah.
So I have different business partners for different businesses that I have because I don't know everything and I don't claim to know everything, but I want to surround myself with people that do. And so this particular person has really good expertise in real estate marketing, real estate and real estate marketing, lending, mortgages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he's really in depth in the financial world. So I talked to him about it, and he goes, "Man, Lou, you're right." And so anyway, I didn't know what the confirmation was, and I wanted a confirmation about this, if this was the right idea and the right way I was going. So I got invited from another person to go to the Mexican consulate. This was about a month ago. And I went in, I stood there, and I was waiting to talk to the consul general, but make a long story short, they weren't available at the time. But I had 30 minutes of observing what was around me. And again, going back to observation, I saw all these people coming in, asking for help of different sorts: divorce, real estate, marriage issues, this, that, the other, coming in, and it was packed. And I said, "Man, is it always this busy here?" They go, "No, this is really slow today."
Oh gosh.
I'm like, "What?" I'm like, and so I was like, "God, is this the confirmation that this is what I need to do?" There is a lot of work, and there's not that many organizations to support this.
Mm-hmm.
There is not. So, we needed a lot of things. We needed an immigration attorney. And again, I don't know everything. So I called an immigration attorney that we knew out of California, and I asked, and I was talking. She was very interested at talking to you. I said, "But we'll reach out to you when we can." Okay, I was like, "God, I really need an immigration attorney because I need that professional backing in this area." She calls, she texts me, sends me an email. Said, "The attorney doesn't want to talk to you." I spoke to her legal assistant. I said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, can immigration lawyers, can they work? Are you licensed to do licensed in Arizona? They go, "Because immigration is a federal law, we can work anywhere in the country."
Wow.
I didn't know that. I'm like, bingo. The next thing you know, I get an email shortly after that conversation saying the attorney wants to talk to you. And how can we mutually help the Hispanic community, the migrant community, in what you're doing? I'm like, thank you, God. And then there was another thing that happened that we needed, and we got it, right? And there's contracts with different people that work with the migrant community. We got that. We were getting clients in before we even were ready to take the clients on, right? And I'm like, "God, okay, I'm listening. I'm here. How can we do this, right?" And so here we are today, and then I got some other tech startups that I'm putting together as well for the franchise side of things. But it's just an amazing thing when you put your life in God's hands and say, "God, lead me. I don't want to lead myself any longer. I need you to lead me now. Regardless if this works or not, at the end of the day, I'm going to follow you regardless." And once you committed to God in that manner and committed your entire life, your passion, everything that you have to follow God in his truth and his ways, you're going to be successful. Not to say you're not going to have bumps in the road, but you're going to wind up being successful.
Mm-hmm.
And the bumps in the road are just learning stuff that you need to learn in order to make sure that you're going to the right track. So, thanks for mentioning that. But yeah, we're excited about it, and I couldn't be any much more really, really excited. It's hard. I mean, what is it? I mean, business is hard. You worry about things. We're like, okay, well, I got to get this going because the bills are coming in and things like that, and what we all as entrepreneurs think about sometimes. But we get through it, and we're gonna make it happen.
So the lessons for the young people out there listening, being an observer, being persistent, being an opportunist, because part of that observing is you see, hey, I see a need here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the right thing, and not be afraid, and really trust in God. You know, and not just trust in ourselves, but trust in God in the future. And so, you know, going back to you know, we all have addiction qualities of some sort, but that's exactly what they're past addictions. They're not your current addictions. You're observing, you're looking for opportunities, you're wanting to make a difference, and you can utilize your story to do that. You can have each and every one of us has a story. We can mold that story into something that is going to be beneficial for others. That's the truth. That's the truth that you're giving and you're inspiring others. You know, don't let your stuff, the bad stuff that happened to you, be in vain. And let me explain that. If you can utilize all the bad things, the addictions, the qualities that you were before, and use it for good, it's not going to be in vain. All the hell that you went through is going to go to a positive reinforcement for somebody else. And I mean, there's stories upon stories in the Bible of people that were not good people. Mm-hmm. Weren't good people, but God used them for good. Absolutely. God uses the mess in our lives for good. So if we make sure that we don't get ourselves put up in their mindset of, man, I'm an addict. I can't do nothing. I'm an addict. You know, nobody's going to respect me. Nobody's going to want to hear me. I'm just another addict. And if you start thinking that way, yeah, you are just another addict. But if you take what God has given you as being that addiction and turn it around for good, man, I'm telling you, the world is getting, like my mom said, the world is your oyster, mijo. You know
that. So true.
Yeah. So this is good stuff, man. I appreciate, man, this is it's invigorating to talk about it. I don't have the opportunity to talk about this a lot. But having this platform to really express that is fantastic. It's really liberating.
Yeah.
So this business where you're helping the Hispanic community, how do they get a hold of you? Or
yeah, they can just get a hold of me through my directly to me. My email Louis Picazo Picazo.com at gmail.com. And we can talk about how we can help. If you're in an organization that has a lot of immigrants that are in that situation that need help.
Yeah. So what exactly is it that you help with? I mean, do you want to let the audience know, like, what are you able to help with?
Right. So financial protection services, what we do is we're basically let me come run the scenario. So let's say family breadwinner exits, either gets detained or gets deported. Mm-hmm. Okay. The wife and kids are here. Mm-hmm. They're legal. They're U.S. citizens, either by birth or by having the visas or the immigration card. They have assets. They have a home. They have a car. They have a business. Usually, they have businesses, right? So how are we going to how we help them? Well, we make sure, first of all, that we secure their assets through a trust. So you make sure that nobody is going to be able to come in there because, you know, there could be the government, state could come in and say, we want this because X, Y, and Z. We protect them by providing them with a trust. So we protect their assets. We make sure that they have their assets. Then we make sure that we have competent people that is going to protect them and step in when they need to. Because once you're detained and once you're in detainment or you're deported, obviously you cannot sign anything. You're stuck. So what we want to do is we want to be able to have them to be able to go out there and say, like their wife, and say, okay, I could get in. Because in the Hispanic community, what happens is, guys, the man is usually the one that signs everything, takes care of everything. Maybe has things in his name, right? And so the wife may not have access to the accounts and stuff. So we have, through the process, we have the wife have access to everything. So then that way, if she needs to get a loan off their house, equity, to at least pay for the legal bills, at least to continue living, paying some college debt that they may have or the bills or whatever. They're able to do that. They're able to function. We give them the ability to function while they're going through this unfortunate situation. And then there's immigration costs, there's attorney costs now, right? So there's bond that needs to be paid. We can't facilitate an opportunity for them to pay that bond so they can either be getting out of detainment, and there's a process for that. So feeling that they're not alone, there is help out there. That they're, because what happens is they'll get a family member, will know another friend, or I'll give you an example. This particular family was in this similar situation. They found somebody who said, I can make sure that I can get you some money that you need. Pay me $5,000. Had her sign the documents. In those documents was a quick claim deed. She didn't know what that was because she didn't know what that was. That quick claim deed now gave that person the ownership of that house. Left her with nothing, sold the house, gave her $20,000, said, see you later.
Wow.
Those are the kind of things that we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Because we see it all the time. Well, I just spent $10,000. I spent $5,000. I spent $3,000 because this person said they could help us. No, we want to avoid that. So we want to help people today before they get into that situation, secure themselves financially. So that way, if the unfortunate happens, which we pray it doesn't, but if it does, they don't have to worry about the financial aspect of things. They don't have to be worried about getting scammed. They can do the things on their own, take care of their families while this situation is happening, and they'll have the money to make sure that their family is taken care of and their legal bills are getting taken care of as well. And we have the support of the attorneys as well, and the immigration attorneys, because the immigration attorneys, they worry about immigration stuff. They don't worry about the financial stuff that's happening on this back end because they don't have the bandwidth to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where we step in.
Right on.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Mike?
No, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a problem here locally. It's a big problem.
It's a big problem. It is a big problem.
I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say those people are probably in a good relationship with God that are being predatory and that are doing these things,
Oh, no. No, not at all.
Unfortunately.
And it's very unfortunate. There's a lot of organizations that will take the money, don't do anything. We want to make a difference. We're putting this plan together. We're structuring it. We're getting the people behind us that we need to, the immigration attorneys, the business attorneys, the financial people, CPAs, everything that we need in order to make sure that they're fully protected. We got a great company that's going to put their trust together. So it's going, man. It's working.
Louis, thank you so much. It's been an incredible show.
Fantastic, Louis.
Again,
Thank you, man.
Sobriety, Spirituality, and Sales brought to you by Michael Bader, State Farm Agency. Guys, again, if you're a business owner and you have a problem with alcohol running your life and you want to find out who you are without it, please reach out to my website, shoot me a DM through my socials. Let's connect. Let's have a conversation of what that would look like in your life. Thank you so much. You guys enjoy your day.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.